Things have got so much worse for the disrespectful IRL streamer, as he's now facing a new crime charge, and if things keep going this way, it'll be inevitable for him to be stuck in Korea's prison system for a while. In my last video covering this guy, I said that it would likely be my last update on him for a while, as there wasn't really that much Johnny could do, you know, considering that one of his mods confirmed that his equipment had been taken away from him.
I've heard now that he's starting to go broke over in Korea.
He will, because he has to stay till March, the 5th of March, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
He can't stream because he does not have a work visa, and his phones and laptops are at the police.
They're with the police?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And at least it has been a little while now, considering it's the next year. Happy New Year's, by the way. But I might have been wrong, because apparently he got access to another phone very quickly since he's been back on his Discord server, and he also created a new YouTube channel. And he's been messaging on his Discord server, as you can see here, but we'll get back into that later. But obviously, this is Johnny Somali, a disrespectful IRL streamer who's essentially known for going into other countries that are extremely high-trust societies, only to push everyone's boundaries as far as you can. And the dude clearly believes that he'll get away with anything that he does because, get this, he keeps pushing the limits and he keeps on getting thrown into jail cells. But that doesn't stop him from saying, I'm gonna beat this case like OJ. I don't think OJ is a person you want to aspire to be. We've been covering this guy for a little bit over a year now, and in the meantime, he's already been to Japanese jail, detained in Israel, and he's now stuck in Korea for always repeating the same behavior over and over again. And as we know, the court date has been pushed back from December 20th of 2024 to March 7th, 2025. And now the guy is desperate because he's stuck in Korea, he can't work, he doesn't have his passport. There's not much to do then. And the reason he can't work is because he doesn't have his work visa and he doesn't have most of his equipment, as that was taken from him. So at least for now, he can no longer do his job, which is essentially running around in public harassing innocent people. Because if he continues to do that, even if he gets new equipment, he doesn't have his work visa, and that can just add even more charges to his already ongoing legal case. And then to make things even worse for the guy, he's still being hunted by the South Korean population with a bounty for those who can catch and smack the Golden Goblin. That's what the Koreans have dubbed him. The reason for this name is apparently a Golden Goblin is someone who drops a loot, and you know, the loot is the bounty they get for smacking him. So there we go. So it's safe to say the dude is terrified, but I don't really have that much remorse for the guy. It seems like, as we've covered here on this channel, he's dug his own grave. He's had 80 million outs, but he just keeps doubling down and just continues the same behavior. But because he'll actually have to face consequences for his antics for the first time in a long time since Japan. In Japan, he only got 3 months, but apparently that wasn't enough to deter him. So, now he's back for round 2 in Korea. But by the way things look right now, it looks like he'll be getting a lot more than 3 months. And the dude is afraid that he might have actually ruined his life forever. Not only because, you know, he might get some serious time, but also because he has no valuable place to stream currently. And clearly, that's what he cares the most about. And the newest update on Johnny is apparently there's a new charge. The dude committed a new crime. Or, well, it happened before, but the charge came from, you know, because he live streams everything he does. So one of the victims and the companies that saw it, or that it happened to, they went, hey, we're filing a charge for that. So this information was first reported on Bang TV, a South Korean YouTube channel, on his community tab. And here it says, fortunately, in the case of Jung Sung, I might be butchering names here, I'm so sorry. Passenger bus number 271. Jung Sung is apparently the name of the company whose bus Johnny was on. The victim was identified. The bus driver in the video gave a statement, and the Jung Sung passenger bus manager, who was on the bus at the time Johnny was on this bus, gave a statement about witnessing the obstruction of the business. So this guy really chose the worst possible bus to essentially do his antics on, because what are the chances that Johnny Somali is on the same bus as the bus company manager? I mean, that's just a full circle moment. So Johnny, I guess, was just at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he documented and uploaded all of it. So the charge of obstruction of business was acknowledged, and the case was sent to the prosecution. And if he gets a couple more of these business obstruction charges, he can't help but go to prison. Because don't forget, he also has one charge of obstruction of business for the ramen incident at the 7-Eleven. Now he has a second. So for one charge of obstruction of business, he would likely have to pay a fine. For 2 charges, he might face a few months in prison. For 3, this number just keeps adding, and then 4 and 5 and so on. So I mean, like, if he just keeps getting these charges, he might have to sit in prison for a while. And Andrew from Legal Mindset explained why this is an obstruction of business.
This right here, when the bus driver has to get up and handle you and yell at you, that's obstruction. You are causing a delay. If you guys don't know, in case you guys haven't been to Korea, buses tend to run on time. And if you are in any way delaying the timeliness of a bus, that is huge. That is absolutely big, because that same bus is driving back and forth all day. And if you've messed them up by 5 minutes, that messes up the whole schedule for the whole day. So this is a big deal.
So yeah, at this point, it's pretty much inevitable that Johnny will be facing some time in Korea's prison. Now, we just kind of have to wait for how much this time will actually be. But other than that, his best friend in Korea, Hank Yu, who is also, I guess, his co-conspirator in a lot of his live stream antics, he recently had an interview for the podcast K-Town Social Club, where the hosts made sure to question Hank about his friendship with Johnny Somali. But if you don't know who I'm talking about, you know, since this lore just keeps on adding new characters to the roster, Hank was one of the guys who screamed at Johnny to stop drinking in that video where all of them were allegedly in the back of a police car being hidden away from the Korean citizens who were hunting them.
Hold on. Cheers. Stop drinking in a cop car, man. That's not on camera. Or I'm gonna drop everything, man.
We're not drinking. We're not drinking. We're not drinking.
Hey, please, bro.
It's not on camera.
You follow my orders. We're not helping you, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, lie. This is not Japan. Americans have way more freedom here.
We guys always were free.
Protecting us. We in the back of the police car. Come and get us.
Yo, they gonna look at these films. They gonna be like, oh, hell no. I said stop drinking!
And he was also the other friend of Johnny alongside of Gino in this video where they were all beaten up by South Korean citizens. So maybe they really needed to be in the back of that police car for protection. So now that our memories are refreshed, let's take a look at what he has to say.
I don't agree with everything what he does, but I do support his freedom of speech. And
what do you agree with? What do you agree with that he does?
I agree with pissing off Korean Xers. For sure. Generation X, yes.
What? So you just help Johnny harass random people in Korea who many aren't even Gen X because you dislike Gen X? Interesting.
What did Generation X do?
Generation X is the worst in Korea.
Yeah, explain it. Well, why are they the worst? What do they do?
So, do you know the Generation X attitude, like, how dare you disagree with me?
Okay.
I mean, I think that's just the general
boomers too, right?
Boomers too, but boomers, I believe they have their own reason because Korea was actually poor then.
Yeah, but Johnny was not just going after Generation X. He was mostly targeting like Gen Z Koreans on the street and like harassing them, no? And boomers too.
I thought
Gen Z actually loved.
Pretty sure zero Gen Xers were comfort women too. So
well, that's a good point, and I heavily doubt that the average Gen Z Korean loves Johnny. That's definitely not what I've heard.
I know, but Gen Z actually love Johnny. Trust me.
You mean like 90% of Gen Z love Johnny, or
okay? So that boomer that was in the convenience store in the 7-Eleven that was getting harassed by Johnny, that woman deserved to be harassed like that
and have stuff
like
thrown
the ramen.
No,
what does freedom of speech have to do with action?
Okay,
that I actually disagree with.
So you have a line then.
Oh, well, thankfully you don't agree with everything he does. So he's saying he's doing all that with the sole purpose of pissing Generation X people off. I mean, he says he's a free speech supporter, but what Johnny did and has been doing all along isn't really a matter of free speech. Like, I would even risk saying that it has never been a matter of free speech. Like, the dude has just straight up been harassing and threatening people. Free speech obviously is extremely important, but so is not being harassed and used for content by random streamers when you're simply walking in public. Like, come on, if you are commuting on a bus, one of the last things you want is some streamer to shove a rotting fish in your face and laugh at it while he's live streaming your reaction for his content. People do not want that to happen in society.
So you say you support Johnny Somali's right to free speech, right? But then when you continue to hang out with him after he then gets violent with people and puts his hands on people or does break the law, you do realize you're no longer supporting his freedom of speech and you're just supporting his illegal behavior, right?
Right, but Johnny never actually put his hands on people.
He has threatened to, hasn't he?
Moxie as a joke. Yeah.
So
yeah,
he jokingly
sure, but
threatened to rape somebody.
So how do we
but
know if it's a joke or not?
Like that's online like streaming stuff, and I don't know if it's a threat because he said that you should get raped by Somalis.
I feel like he just proved to the world he's about as intelligent as a loaf of bread. But let's keep going.
I would take care of my safety first, right? But at the same time, like
but taken to the logical
Johnny
conclusion,
doesn't really endanger my
but taken to the
right now,
logical
he's
conclusion.
Didn't you just get your ass beat last? Didn't you get your ass beat though?
I did.
Right.
So how did he not put you in danger then?
He did, but that wasn't supposed to happen in a first world country like Korea. You know,
Why wouldn't it?
That would happen in Mexico, basically.
What? No. If you go to a country and you mock their culture, don't be surprised if you get your ass beat. That is a universal thing. How is this not clicking with them? But they do ask him what Johnny has been up to. And by the way, this interview happened before his trial was officially delayed.
Where's Johnny now? What's he up to? Is he doing okay? His trial's next week, isn't it?
Yeah, Johnny's doing all right, but he's not with me right now. But
yeah, because everyone knows where you live.
Yeah, so like my location's like compromised, so I'm not gonna keep Johnny here. You know,
Right, but,
obviously.
But do you still hang out with him? You have like meals with him? You have pizza with him? You eat what, jjajangmyeon with him? What do you do with him?
I talked to him about a couple legal cases because he is a witness to that aggravated assault, and he's a witness to like stalking, all that, you know.
Yeah. So do you eat with him or
I'm
what?
also a witness to those cases. No, not really. I mean,
okay.
if I eat with him, that's gonna like compromise his safety too, you know.
So what's your take overall? Is he f***ed in your opinion, or is he going to be okay?
Well, they're trying to make it political, and
Sure.
you know what happened to my case because they made my case political back in East Texas. I got right.
But that was from American government, not Korean government.
Yeah, but like Korea has like much, I would say, more lenient sentencing than the United States. So Johnny's probably not going to go to prison. He's going to.
Oh, you think
probably,
you
like,
think he'll be let go?
Either let go or like at most like pay some fines, you know, because I mean, what did he do that was like felonious?
What do you mean he didn't do anything that was felonious? Wait, what do you mean by that? Like, I have an entire list on one of my past videos of every felony this guy's committed, and that was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So there's probably more as of right now. National Security Law, Anti-Terrorism Act, Business Obstruction, the Deepfake Incident, a crime of insult, defamation, an act of assault, Narcotics Control Act, and finally, a Misdemeanor Penalty Act. Johnny's clearly been speedrunning the Korean Penal Code, and Hank is out there asking, what did he do that was felonious? And by the end of the interview, they ask Hank if he knows where Gino is, and even though he responds that Gino went from Korea directly to Japan, there's a lot of people saying, hey, that's not even true, considering, you know, his last post on social media. But back to the Johnny situation. Apparently, he's got a new phone once again, and he started messaging on his Discord one more time. And this time, he seems to be considering a real comeback in his career. If I come back to streaming, I don't know where he'll be at this point. I honestly should have never been banned from Kick, but that's in the past. I feel like this might be the first message from this guy where he realized he ruined his own life. Because clearly, it doesn't seem that jail time phases him. What does seem to phase him is not being able to live stream. And now that's become extremely hard for him with all of his bans. And then you have all the legal implications from Korea on top of that. But Johnny has uploaded some VOD on his old stream where I guess when he was back in Japan in 2023, but that's really not that relevant to this situation right now. It's not like he's uploading new content from Korea onto his Rumble as of now. But as I mentioned earlier, the problem for his comeback is he managed to get banned on essentially every single relevant streaming platform. So his comeback, even if he goes all in, it's going to be very hard to find him because he's banned. And obviously he made a new YouTube account, but if he starts streaming on YouTube again, it won't really last for too long considering he's already been banned on YouTube once before. He's also bragging about the title of world's most controversial live streamer on his new YouTube channel, but Johnny's main problem is he's not even controversial, he's just universally hated. But if you want the full story of how we even got here, you can check out this video here, or you can check out this one that YouTube's recommending to you. And other than that, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully. Peace.